Thank you, Ifeanyi. Welcome to Lagos. The House-to-House Campaign Organization for Democracy has taken a sensitization tour to the southwest zone of the country. The national women leader of the organization, Funmi Uzo Nnaji, told women groups in Lagos that the administration of President Goodluck Jonathan has done well for Nigerian women and they should reciprocate by campaigning for his re-election in 2015 general election. Olajide Bello has the details.
Speaking on the sensitization tour to Lagos State, the national women leader of the House-to-House Campaign Organization for Democracy, Mrs. Funmi Uzo Nnaji, said the campaign is a wake-up call to Nigerians to ensure continuity of President Goodluck Jonathan's transformation agenda by voting him in come 2015.
We believe house to house, we have membership on ground, and we are working with the grassroots.
On the issue of gender equality, the Deputy National Women Leader, Hajia Lami Kwajafa, commended the President for ensuring equal representation in terms of appointment into key positions.
Our mission is one: bring out Mr. President.
Mrs. Nengi Jaja Odiete and Mrs. Ayodele Ulukoya are zonal coordinators for South-South and South-West zones, respectively.
To sensitize the people of Lagos, to tell them that, look, this man has done this, has done that.
We need him to complete the assignment he started.
The House-to-House Campaign Organization for Democracy is a non-governmental organization with the vision of soliciting continuity of President Goodluck Jonathan come 2015.
The officer in charge of the Southwest Office of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, Professor Olu Aina, has commended the development drive of the present administration in Ogun State. The ICPC chieftain stated this after an inspection tour of the ongoing projects in the state with the state governor, Ibikunle Amosun. Lekon Agbonde has the details.
The team was led on an inspection tour of the ongoing projects in the state. Some of the projects inspected included the ongoing model schools in Abeokuta and Obadaoko, the housing projects at Ladiri and Magbon areas of Abeokuta, the state capital. Others are the ongoing road projects in the Ultra Modern Auto Mechanic Village and the newly constructed Health Center at Ogbe. The leader of the delegation, Professor Oluwaino, while speaking with newsmen after the tour, described what he saw as amazing.
I'm very happy that I have the opportunity to come and see things for myself. Of course, yes. I will say this is quality service.
The governor, Senator Ibikunle Amosun, described the achievements of the present administration as a result of his government's determination to ensure service delivery.
I'm even saying that I think things like this is even good for them to see, because we are in the season where people just write frivolous things.
Senator Amosun, however, said that his government will not relent in its efforts to achieve the rebuilding mission of the state. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
The Nigerian Immigration Service has arrested a man with fake military identity cards around Nigeria-Benin Republic border. Nosa Osula has the details.
The young Nigerian from Ebonyi State was spotted around the Nigerian-Benin Republic border with 3 different military agencies' identity card. Luck ran out of the suspect as he was handed over by the Immigration Service to the military authority.
Nigerian Army identity card. See here. You see him here. This is one. This one is Nigerian Navy. The same person. It's the same person. This one with the name Nwachi Emmanuel Collins. This is it. This one is 81 Division, Nigerian Army. The name here is Okoliu AO. So these are the cards. So we feel that as part of cooperation between the Army and Immigration and other security agencies here, we should hand him over to you. We have written a letter to that effect.
Further investigation is to be carried out as he is to be charged to court as soon as investigation is completed. In Lagos, Nusa Usula, NTA News.
And that does it from Lagos. It's back to you, Ifeanyi, for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Many thanks, Demola. The Minister of Labour and Productivity, Emeka Wogu, is advocating the adoption of logical approach to issues bordering on union matters. The minister stated this in a paper titled The Role of Government in Promoting Harmonious Industrial Relations for Productivity, delivered to participants of the Senior Executive Course of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru Jos.
Of the national policy on productivity is to break the vicious cycle of underdevelopment by raising the national competitiveness, eradicating poverty, and accelerating improvement in the standard of living of the people of Nigeria.
In a related development, the Minister of Labour and Productivity has reconstituted and inaugurated the ministry's Anti-Corruption and Transparency Monitoring Unit. Mr. Wogu said the decision became necessary towards combating corruption in the labour sector and the need to bring about a new socio-economic order. Minister of Tourism, Culture and National Orientation, Edem Duke, has stressed the need for the chief executives of parastatals in the ministry to pursue government's transformation agenda in the tourism and culture sector with commitment and loyalty. He stated this in a meeting with all the chief executives of parastatals in his ministry. Elizabeth Banu has details.
Following President Goodluck Jonathan's appointment of chief executives in some parastatals in the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and National Orientation, the minister, Edem Duke, urged the new DGs to be diligent, committed and be guided by the principles of fair play and justice.
There must be a dramatic impact. There must be professionalism. There must be loyalty, and there must be courage in dealing with your assignments in your various agencies.
With the new appointment, women have been given a greater role to play in the administration of culture and tourism sector in Nigeria. Chika Balogun is the new Director General, National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism, NIHOTO. She takes over from Abdul Hamid Mohammed Sharif.
Our work as hard as any of you and even harder. I would expect the same amount of work from everybody else. And I'm sure that together in a very, very short time, we'll begin to see the wheel turn a little bit faster in our favor.
NIHOTO was established in 1987. In Abuja, I'm Elizabeth Banu, NTA News.
Nigerians have been advised to strictly adhere to the teachings of their various religions in their daily affairs, as this will facilitate economic growth and development. The Special Assistant to President Goodluck Jonathan on Islamic Affairs and State House Mosque, Tahir Umar Tahir, stated this while hosting the members of Egyptian Fatwa Council to a dinner. Aliu Kabir reports.
Although the volume of trade between Nigeria and Egypt currently stands at $150, which the Egyptian ambassador to Nigeria, Ashraf Salama, described as unimpressive, taking into cognizance the potentials of the two countries. The two countries are employing necessary mechanisms to strengthen the relationship, especially in the field of economic prosperity, youth empowerment, viable education system, and better services. It is against this background that the members of the Egyptian Fatwa Council paid a visit to Nigeria.
His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, has rolled out many programs to counter terrorism and insurgency in this country. So it is on the strength of this that our brothers from Egypt, Dar al-Iftar, felt it necessary to come into Nigeria and to consolidate, to facilitate and to give their contribution towards the eradication of extremism and to strengthen the effort of Mr. President.
During their 4-day stay in the country, the group will engage in an interfaith workshop and seminars in Kaduna and Abuja.
So they came to share their experience of interfaith to help Nigeria at this hard time to solve many problems.
Want to achieve
to make our relationship between Egypt and Nigeria more strength.
Stakeholders believed that the gesture will go a long way in educating religious faithful to have a better understanding of both Islam and Christianity. In Abuja, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Let's pause for some messages now. We will be back with more reports in a short while. Do stay with us.
Excuse me. What people are looking for in Sokoto, we are having Sokoto. Good luck are what every parent and wishes speaking. In school, in business, in life. Everybody are looking for good luck. Every country are looking for good luck. In World Cup tournament, good luck. Or Louisa come back to life, good luck. The schools are now breaking all over to betterment the future of Almajiris. Good luck. Our universities are properly funded. Good luck. My dear brothers of the North, are you seeing what I am saying? Agriculture are now walk over. That 33 modern dams are ready for farmers. Good luck. Fertilizers are purchased for almost free of charge. FOC. I am talking of power supply. That power reform and make steady supply of light every daily. Let us thank Chineke God for our good luck. Good luck continue for Nigeria.
This message is brought to you courtesy Transformation Ambassadors of Nigeria. Down for One Vision, Nigeria.
Come to Sharon Ultimate Hotels, Abuja, the ultimate place to be.
The reform and review of Nigeria's obsolete laws is the focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week. Tuesday Live, engaging, interactive, and informative. Don't be told. Join us.
Nigeria, we the people decree that the power of evil secrecy shall fail.
All Nigerians should understand that a divided Nigeria can only mean catastrophic consequences for the entire black race.
We all African countries count on you, and you are our beacon of hope.
That when Nigeria sneezes, all of us will catch cold.
All of us who look to Nigeria for lessons and inspiration never cease to thank God for this wonderful gift to Africa.
Nigeria enjoys the respect, the admiration, the friendship, and the
of Africa.
Nigeria.
Unite and build Nigeria.
God bless Nigeria.
A message from Protect.
Look for good luck. Every country I look for good luck. In World Cup tournament, good luck. Or Louisa come back to life, good luck. The schools are now breaking all over to betterment the future of Almajiris. Good luck. Our universities are properly funded. Good luck. My dear brothers of the North, are you seeing what I am saying? Agriculture are now walk over. That 33 modern dams are ready for farmers. Good luck. Fertilizers are purchased for almost free of charge. FOC. I am talking of power supply. That power reform and make steady supply of light every daily. Let us thank Chineke God for our good luck.
Good luck continue for Nigeria.
This message is brought to you courtesy Transformation Ambassadors of Nigeria. Down for One Vision, Nigeria.
You're still watching NTA Nationwide News. What kind of societies does the world expect to build with an illiterate youth? This is the challenge posed by the Director General of UNESCO, Irina Bokova, as Nigeria joins the world to mark International Literacy Day in Abuja. Franca Uzoma Olua reports on efforts to reduce the high illiteracy level in Nigeria.
Close your eyes and tell me the word ball.
Statistics have it that 781 million adults worldwide cannot read, write, or count. 2/3 of them are women. Nigeria accounts for 8% of the world's illiterate, with 63 million adults who cannot read or write, in addition to the 10.5 million out-of-school children.
If the needed transformation is to be achieved in mass literacy sector, it may be necessary to declare a state of emergency in this sector.
This year's International Literacy Day is devoted to the connection between literacy and sustainable development.
We want a world where everyone can participate in the destiny of their societies, gain access to knowledge, and enrich it in turn.
It is an opportunity to remember the simple truth that literacy not only changes lives, but also saves lives.
We are talking about literacy that will be make learning functional and effective. Functional in the sense that not only being able to read and write, but function effectively in your day-to-day life.
In an effort to reduce the high level of illiteracy, Nigeria signed a Memorandum of Understanding with UNESCO in 2011 to revitalize adult and youth literacy.
They have trained not less than 4,000 facilitators who are supposed to train other people in the various states and local governments.
In the words of the UNESCO Director General, nations need to redouble efforts to ensure that literacy is fully recognized as one of the most powerful tools for development. After all, the future of the world starts with the alphabet. In Abuja, Franca Uzoma Olua, NTA News.
Staying with education, Nasarawa State Polytechnic Lafia is to commence higher national diploma in all of its accredited programs in the next academic session. Governor Umaru Tanko Almakura announced this during the maiden combined convocation of the Polytechnic in Lafia. Correspondent Joshua Ojito has details.
State Polytechnic Lafia, which was established over 10 years ago, currently runs various diploma and certificate courses in 35 programs, out of which 20 courses are accredited, while the remaining 15 courses are yet to be accredited by the NBTE. But Governor Al-Makura gave assurance that before the end of the year, the state government will ensure that the remaining courses yet to be accredited meet the MBTE requirement so that the Polytechnic run H&D programs in all courses. He directed that the State Polytechnic liaise with the state relevant technology centers and the Institute for Technical Education in Singapore so as to train middle manpower in line with global trends.
I want us to reduce so much emphasis on intellectual and academic work in our higher institution. We should have some kind of intervention that will dovetail into technological advancement.
Acting Rector of the Polytechnic, Dr. Silas Gia, and the guest speaker, Professor Ungwe, acknowledged the need for improved funding of the Polytechnic education in order to propel the country amongst the most industrialized nations of the world. In all, 12,200 graduates who graduated in the last 12 years convocated. During the convocation, some distinguished indigents of the state, including former governor of the state, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, and the state first lady, Salamatu Tanko Al-Makura, received fellowship award of the Polytechnic. In Lafia, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Nasarawa State is said to have had numerous cases of fake Youth Corps members. The National Youth Service Corps coordinator in the state, Agatha Olabanji Bolanle, has been speaking on the issue. Agatha Joseph Obioha filed in this report.
The scheme, which was established in 1973, is mandatory for graduates who are below 30 years. It has experienced credibility crisis in recent times because of factors including desperation for posting to choice states and places of primary assignment. In the past 2 years, security operatives have discovered 2 fake orientation camps in Nasarawa State, beside the official one located in Kefi. The state coordinator, NYSC Nasarawa State, Agatha Olabanji, says on coming on board last year, she received many negative stories of fake corps members and defection, but says the story has changed.
These fake orientation camps and corps members are things of the past because we have introduced the online registration. All information must have been received from institutions of graduation. So with this, corps members will feed in their information online and they will be registered. Anyone that does not fit into the information given by school will not be deployed.
Besides the measures taken in addressing the fake corps members, the NYSC authority has also vowed to prosecute any of its personnel or a third party that connives in racketeering.
The disciplinary committee will be set up, and if the person is found wanting, then the civil service rule will be used on such a person.
From Kefi, Agatha Joseph Obiora, NTA News.
Ensuring internal security measures in schools and positive change in attitude, values and behavior among students are some of the issues raised at a series of awareness campaigns by the National Orientation Agency, NOA, in Gombe State. Correspondent Talatu Lamon reports.
The series of campaigns by the National Orientation Agency is to create more security consciousness for heads of public and private schools in Gombe State. Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Mike Omeri, represented by Director Human Resources of the agency, Ado Solomon, said the fight against terrorism can only be achieved through collective commitment and called for collaborative efforts of parents and teachers to ensure maximum security of the students at home and in schools. Gombe State Deputy Director, School Services, Mohammed Sadiq, said the State Ministry of Education has taken measures such as organizing security workshops, among other measures towards improving security challenges in schools. The National Orientation Agency has also organized a similar campaign at the Federal College of Education Technical Gombe to encourage students on the need to inculcate norms, values, and good consciousness as future leaders. State Director, National Orientation Agency, Matoya Kubu, who noted that Nigerian youth have a greater role to play in national development, said ensuring peaceful coexistence, social harmony, as well as political and economic stability is a collective responsibility.
We are trying to catch them where they are supposed to be useful for themselves. The students generally constitute the youth segment of the society, and that we thought that to catch them young is very important, and to inform them on their values is also another thing.
Others who spoke on health-related issues and religious tolerance, among other issues, warned the youth against all forms of social vices. In Gombe, I am Talatu Lamon, NTA News.
The Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Mr. Mike Omeri, has called on communities to disband all forms of ethnic militia operating within their domain in the interest of peace and national cohesion. He was speaking in Abuja when the Director General of the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution, Professor Oshita, visited for strategy formulation. Mr. Omeri said his agency has observed that the ethnic militia were ready tools in the hands of mischief makers, stressing that the present situation requires the collective patriotism of all ethnic groups to defend national integrity instead of sectional interests. He therefore urged those who form the ethnic militia to desist from such acts.
It is the way, it is the goal, it is the target.
The Director General of the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution, Professor Oshita, said his institute considers NOA a strategic partner in peace building in line with the mandate of proactive conflict resolutions. He commended the agency's involvement in the National Information Center, that this gives Nigerians hope for lasting peace. Edo State House of Assembly resumes plenary after weeks of break due to factional crisis. Details with Agatha in our Benin Center. Hello Agatha, it's good to see you.
To see you too, Ifeanyi. Good evening and thanks for joining us in Benin. In the efforts to sustain the existing peace in Ondo State, Governor Olusegun Mimiko has promised to deepen his partnership with security agencies in the state. The governor made the pledge when he received the brigade commander of the 32 Artillery Brigade, Akure, Brigadier General Aliyu Momo. Doris Olumoko reports.
The new brigade commander, 32 Artillery Brigade, Brigadier General Aliyu Momo, took over from Brigadier General Diko, leading other top-ranking officers of the brigade on a familiarization visit to Governor Olusegun Mimiko. Brigadier General Momo noted the support of Governor Olusegun Mimiko towards security matters in the state, which he said has gone a long way in sustaining peace in the state.
As the Chief Security Officer, we have no choice to work with you, to be loyal to you, because you are a man of peace.
Governor Olusegun Mimiko noted that the existing peace in the state is the outcome of the synergy between security operatives in the state, and promised to visit the barracks with a view to giving it a facelift.
We will continue.
We sincerely apologize for the break in transmission from our Benin Network Center. We move on now with the nationwide news from here in Abuja. The threat of Ebola virus has continued to attract attention of stakeholders from within and outside the country. Minister of Health Professor Onyebuchi Chukwu believes that sooner than later, Ebola virus disease will become history, just like other diseases in Nigeria. Murujanatu Adamu Said reports that the minister made this known while addressing a World Press Conference. The report.
50 days when the Ebola virus disease finds its way into the country, stakeholders have been engaging themselves to ensure that the Ebola virus disease is kicked out of the country. At the moment, only one person, the wife of the Port Harcourt doctor, is in isolation and without any sign of the disease in Lagos.
The federal government shall continue to remain vigilant and strengthen screening at our ports of entry and exit. As long as there is a single case of Ebola virus disease anywhere in the world, every nation, every individual remains at risk, and Nigerians are not exempt.
With only 19 confirmed cases, 15 in Lagos, 4 in Port Harcourt.
The total number of deaths from Ebola virus disease in Nigeria stands at 7. 5 of these died in Lagos. One, as you know, the index case, Mr. Patrick Sawyer, in a private hospital, while the other 4 died in the isolation ward in Lagos State. 2 of the 7 died in Port Harcourt. The medical doctor who died in a private hospital, and the contact who died in the isolation ward in Rivers State.
On the alert rumor of the outbreak of the disease in Kebbi, Kaduna, Uyo, Enugu, Delta, Sokoto and Abuja, Professor Onyebuchi Chukwu said all the suspected cases have turned out to be negative, and the patients were treated for different ailments. Morjana to Adam Said, NTA News.
With the technical issues now over, we will now rejoin our Benin Network zone for reports from that zone.
Thank you for rejoining us. The Edo State House of Assembly resumed plenary today as 2 factions. At the parallel plenary, the calendar for the second quarter, first session of the 5th Assembly was adopted respectively. Ubeyo Toba Presai reports that the Commissioner of Police, Folunsho Adebanjo, has warned the lawmakers not to throw the state into chaos.
At the APC plenary, the proposed 75-sitting day calendar was presented for consideration by the Majority Leader, Mr. Philip Shaibu, which he said would enable the House achieve its mandate. The calendar was unanimously adopted by the lawmakers. The Speaker, Mr. Uyigbe, also used the opportunity to commend Mr. Shaibu and other legislators who were recognized by the Committee on Governmental Affairs in the House of Representatives. At the PDP plenary, which was presided over by Mr. Festus Ebea, a 77-sitting-day calendar was proposed by the member representing Asa Northeast, Mr. Ima Okodwa, for the quarter. He told the House that if adopted, it would afford them ample time to carry out their statutory functions. The Commissioner of Police, Mr. Folusho Adebanjo, had advised the lawmakers not to throw the city into chaos and promised to ensure the protection of lives and property.
If they have any grievances, they should ventilate their grievances in the court of laws, both at the state and the federal levels, and not engage in any public disruption of peace in the state.
The two sittings by the two factions were brief. In Benin, Obehi Otobo Presai, NTA News.
As part of the federal government's response to the current global economic recession, which is already having its toll on food production and agricultural development, the federal government has introduced 15 billion naira commercial agricultural credit scheme to cushion the impact on that sector. Are these loans really accessible to small-scale farmers? Lawrence Okoji examines the issue.
At the 19th edition of the National Economic Summit, tagged Growing Agriculture as a Business to Diversify Nigeria's Economy, the federal government disclosed that a grant of 15 billion naira has been approved for agricultural banks for disbursement to small and medium-scale farmers. The reason for the scheme is for farmers to exploit the untapped potentials in the agricultural sector and to boost Nigeria's foreign earnings. Farmers interviewed said though the move is commendable, the delay in implementation may hinder the scheme.
We have not assessed, we have done the paperwork, believing that the transformation agenda of the president, by virtue of this, will build capacity for the agri sector that will in turn create jobs and increase our GDP.
We are still expecting the money.
The Edo State Director of Farming Services, Mr. Phyllis Ezewele, said it is too early for farmers to complain of non-implementation and advised them to do what is expected so as to benefit from the scheme. In Benin, Lawrence Okoji, NTA News.
Now, good health and longevity have been described as special gifts for which people should be thankful to God. The event was the 75th birthday Thanksgiving service by the National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Chief John Odigye Oyegun in Benin City, Edo State. At a church service to mark the event, parish priest of the St. Paul's Catholic Church, Reverend Father Paul Eno, said people should always be thankful to God to attract more blessings. He urged the celebrant to ensure that his leadership of the APC makes a difference in the lives of the people.
We urge you, in the spirit of the new organization, to proclaim the gospel in your chairmanship of the All People's Congress.
Governor Adams Oshomole, his Imo and Osun states counterparts, extolled the qualities of the elder statesman.
At 75, the celebrant looked very young. He looked like 50, and God has blessed him. Good family, good career.
Other guests joined the celebrant to thank God for the gift of life and achievements recorded so far. Before going into politics, Chief Oyegun had retired from the civil service in 1985 as a federal permanent secretary and became the first governor of Edo State. And that's our package. Ifeanyi, back to you for the rest of News Nationwide. Good evening.
Many thanks, Agatha. The leadership of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has congratulated the acting governor of Adamawa State, Ahmadu Fintiri, for his emergence as the party's candidate for the October 11, 2014 governorship by-election in the state. A statement signed by the PDP National Publicity Secretary, Chief Olisa Metu, indicates that the leadership also commended the other aspirants for their ratio of sportsmanship and unwavering commitment to the party throughout the nomination process, in keeping with the ideals of the PDP and the visions of the founding fathers. In the same vein, the PDP also congratulated its candidate, Dr. Shem Zagba Inuhu, for emerging victorious at the Niger East senatorial by-election. It described the outcome of the election as a confirmation of the popularity of the PDP among the people at the grassroots. And meanwhile, Senator Jibrila Bindo has clinched the ticket for the All Progressives Congress by-election in Adamawa State. Announcing the result of the APC primary in Yola, chairman of the election committee, Garba Abari, said Senator Jibrila Bindo pulled 2,718 votes to beat the runner-up Ibrahim Yayaji, who got 2,258 votes. Join us for details in our subsequent bulletin. A group known as Good Luck One-on-One Network has been inaugurated in Abuja with a call on President Goodluck Jonathan to continue in office. Samaila Abdullahi reports that the activities of the group will cover the 6 geopolitical zones. Sincerely apologize. We'll bring you that report in the course of this bulletin. Moving ahead now, the 33rd National Prayer Conference of the Intercessors for Nigeria has been held with a call on delegates to ignore all distractions and be spiritually focused to receive the apostolic impartation. The national coordinator of the National Prayer Conference, Ihai Uzoma, made the call in Abuja. Correspondent Ifeanyi Ezumba reports.
The conference, which has as its theme Possessing the Land, places a huge demand on the church and entails dismantling all existing spiritual structures and authorities that is sustaining the current wickedness in the nation and enthroning righteousness in the land. The various session and pool of speakers that will minister in the conference will be used to usher a new prophetic era for the church and the nation.
This is a time to pray. This is a time to call upon God. And from what we see, we are yet to pray enough so that God will give us the necessary intervention that we all desire and look forward to.
Some of the missionaries challenged Christians to live a true Christian life and assume the responsibility to build Nigeria.
Nigeria is a great country. We have many resources. I normally say it's easier to count what we don't have than what we have. So somebody has to be blind to see, not to see that God has blessed Nigeria. But there is a quote, God gives a country, but people build the towns.
The advice I have for Christians is that Nigeria will remain the way it is until Nigerians accept responsibility for Nigeria. Only Nigerians can change Nigeria. A conference like this will equip you with tools to make a difference over your own lifetime and to make a difference.
The Intercessors for Nigeria is a non-denominational prayer network that serves as a resource center for the church in the training of believers in the art of intercession, strategic spiritual warfare, and discipleship. In Abuja, Ifeanyi Ezumba, NTA News.
This is NTA Nationwide News. Susan in Makurdi is standing by to tell us the story of how University of Agriculture is tackling the spread of the Ebola disease. Hello, Susan.
Hello, Ifeanyi, and welcome to Makurdi. Stakeholders in the prevention and management of the Ebola virus disease say until the disease is completely eradicated, the world cannot be at peace. This was the consensus at an awareness campaign organized by the University of Agriculture, Makurdi, to sensitize members of the public on preventive measures against the outbreak of the Ebola virus disease. Correspondent Elias Itiab reports that the event was held at the school convocation square.
The outbreak of Ebola disease in some parts of Nigeria has threatened public health, with many stakeholders taking proactive measures to combat the disease, even in areas where cases have not been reported. Owing to this development, the University of Agriculture, Makurdi, held an Ebola alert campaign against the disease that has placed everybody at risk. The Vice-Chancellor of the institution, represented by the Dean, College of Science, Professor Rufus Shato, said the event is to sensitize students, immediate environment, and the general public on ways of preventing an outbreak in the state.
Ebola does not respect personalities, nor does it respect status. It does not recognize race or color.
Earlier, the Director of University Health Services, Organizers of the event, Dr. Menche Omonoja, noted that one can only run away from a danger if one is aware of its pursuit. The theme of the awareness campaign is Ebola and Emerging Zoonosis, the Veterinary Perspective. In Makurdi, I'm Elias Etiaf, NTA News.
In a bid to entrench peace and sustainable development in Aguila community of Ado local government area of Benue State, a two-day orientation workshop has been organized for 50 women and youths of the community. The workshop is at the instance of the Women Environmental Program in conjunction with the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution and the United Nations Development Program, UNDP. Correspondent Bem Hanya reports.
The name Aguila, which is a community in Ado local government area of Benue State, is synonymous with crisis. Members of the Aguila community themselves have for a long time been engulfed in chieftaincy tussle, which has worsened the plight of the people. It is against this backdrop that the Women Environmental Program, WEP, in collaboration with its development partners, have organized the workshop to bring lasting peace and growth to the area. The workshop is under the Aguila Skills Acquisition Project, where women and young men will be trained in various fields of endeavor for a period of 6 months, after which they will be provided with equipment to practice their skills.
All the efforts of government towards the development of Aguila has been channeled into the peace process.
Security advisor to Governor Gabriel Suswam, Colonel Basil Kwembe, who was represented by Sam Kave, promised government's readiness to work with organizations which aim at restoring lasting peace in the area.
You are therefore assured of government support in this enormous task of reconciling, building, and empowering the people of the state.
Executive Director of WEP, Mrs. Priscilla Achakpa, says the workshop has become necessary because the organizers feel that when the people are gainfully employed, it will reduce the tendency of indulging in conflict. Some chiefs of the community, Ede Otopa and Moses Obande, while urging the people to embrace peace, called on government to carry out infrastructural development in the area. In Makurdi, Bem Hanya, NTA News.
As the Nigerian Air Force continues to play a leading role of ensuring the security and peace of the country, it has not been unmindful of the quality of its personnel. This is why the Air Force has placed emphasis on its School of Air Intelligence. In demonstration of this commitment, it has graduated 43 of its personnel who have undergone advanced intelligence and document security courses in Makurdi, the Benue State capital. Correspondent Bem Hanya again completes the story.
The advent of information technology revolution today, coupled with the threat from terrorist organizations around the world, poses a lot of national security challenges to nations, including Nigeria. It is against this backdrop that the Nigerian Air Force School of Air Intelligence, NAFCENT, was established in 1999 with a view to training the increasing number of Nigerian Air Force personnel of various cadres in the area of information gathering, analysis, and dissemination. Guest of honor at the occasion and Commander 325 GTG Kaduna, Air Commodore Christopher Dollar, charged the graduates on discipline and enjoined them to make the best of the training.
Much has been given to you all during your course at NAFCENT. To whom much is given, much is expected.
Commandant of the school, Group Captain Benson Omoyungbo, who said since files can be physically removed from computers and handed over to adversaries or simply made public, the graduates should be concerned about the proliferation of malicious techniques that could degrade, disrupt, and destroy Nigeria's critical infrastructure. Presentation of certificates and awards were made to the graduate in Makurdi. Bem Hanya, NTA News.
Relief has finally come the way of communities recently affected by flood disaster. in Karim Lamido local government area of Taraba State. The relief materials were distributed by the Taraba State government through the State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA. Correspondent Awal Abdullahi completes the story.
After days of battling the difficult terrain leading to Jen, the distribution center, relief materials finally reached the victims. Handing over the items to leaders of the affected communities, Acting Executive Secretary of the State Emergency Management Agency, Mr. Paul Magida Tino, converged the acting governor's sympathy and concern to the affected people, urging them not to allow the situation to destabilize them. Responding on behalf of the victims, the Chief of Gen, Alhaji Ismaila Agwaru, thanks the state government for moving the relief materials to the area despite the difficult nature of the terrain. The items distributed include food items, belongings, and other requirements. It could be recalled that the several communities around Gen in Karim Lamido local government area were submerged, where hundreds were displaced. In Jalingo, Awal Abdullahi, NTA News.
And that does it from Makurdi. It's back to Ifeanyi in Abuja for more on NTA Nationwide News.
Thank you, Susan. The number one aim of the people-to-people contact is allowing unrestricted flow of people and business between two countries. For Nigeria and China, the volume of movements have continued to increase over the years. Though Nigeria needs investments for development, immigration officials in Beijing say all necessary requirements must be met before access is granted into Nigerian territory. Julieta Aino reports.
The increasing level of exchange between Nigeria and China has led to an increase in trade and people-to-people contact. To maintain the momentum of visits at all levels, the Nigerian embassy in Beijing says it has sped up the visa procurement process.
Those that are qualified to get visa, they get it without stress, if you come through the right channel.
Though getting the visa is not difficult with complete and genuine documents, the officers have had to become extra vigilant over the years on discovery of illegal ways attempted by some Chinese nationals desperate to go seek business opportunities in Nigeria.
It was now decided that we move from stamp to sticker. And the stickers are produced by a very reputable company, of course, the Nigerian Security and Minting Corporation, and the process is like printing a currency. And the security features in it are almost foolproof, multi-layered security features. So it's going to be very difficult for anybody to forge.
Extra pair of hands and eyes have been approved by the Nigerian government to help the mission separate the wheat from the chaff as the volume of movements to Nigeria continues to grow.
We don't have to line up at the gate of the embassy, especially when the weather is bad. And I think the visa application is become more transparent.
Online Integrated Services (OIS) now receives visa applications and sends to Nigerian immigration officers at the embassy to consider.
We give them the guidelines, we give them the requirements, so only those who meet the requirements are brought here.
Those in the visa center, they are not immigration officers, they are not professionals. These documents that are being submitted to them, they wouldn't know the genuinity of these documents. It still boils down to us here to still look through the documents to see its genuinity.
Ambassador Shola Onadipe says sanitizing the Nigerian visa application process is one of the biggest achievements of the mission in recent years. From Beijing, China, Julieta Aino, NTA News.
African Union Commission meets in an emergency session to draft new strategies to deal with the Ebola epidemic as the United States President Barack Obama promises a frontal attack on the Ebola virus disease. These and more on Global Tidbits with correspondent Gabriel Odu.
African Union chiefs have met in an emergency session in Addis Ababa, the Ethiopian capital, to adopt comprehensive measures to halt the spread of the Ebola disease in the continent, which has killed over 2,000 people in West Africa. Meanwhile, the United States President Barack Obama says the U.S. needs to do more to help control the Ebola spread, else the U.S. could be at risk as well, since the disease is fast becoming a global crisis. In Lesotho, the Prime Minister says he is hopeful that peace and order will soon return to the country, though he is yet to reopen the parliament pending wide consultations with the king and political heads. That's Global Tidbits. Gabriel Odu, NTA News.
Sports now. Observers of Nigeria football crisis call on Chris Giwa-led NFF to vacate office as Super Eagles brace up to face South Africa in a must-win 2015 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier. Kene Imabodike has more on Sports Update.
Followers of Nigeria football crisis in recent time have called on Christopher Giwa to vacate office as president of Nigeria Football Federation in order